Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about Apush Podcast, pages 437, 479. So we'll start with the Harry Beecher Stowe and Hinton Helper. Harry Beecher Stowe had a piece of writing, piece of work of literature called The Uncle Tom's Cabin, which was basically just like a story which still pervades popular consciousness. People still call it, for example, Uncle Tom to this day. Hinton Helper had the impending crisis of the South, which basically was approaching from an economical angle, and he was a white supremacist that was also pro-abolition because he believed slavery was holding back the Southern economy and was resulting in uh, wealthy landowners, the wealthy landowner aristocratic elite keeping power rather than the common man. North South Kansas, obviously, there was a really the Kansas Nebraska Act repealed the Missouri Compromise and let settlers reside on slavery. There were also ruffians and violence from both sides as each side tried to move in and vote for what they believed was right. So they gave a lot of division. Preston Brooks attacked Charles Sumner after his famous speech against slavery, and this. There's a famous image of this. I can show you guys later. But this image was basically just used as sort of propaganda for the white side. Actually, I can pull it up right now. I believe it's this one. No, is it this one? Is this it? The right image? I'm very confused. One second. I need to find the right image. This is it, right? Yeah. Sorry, I thought it was the wrong image. Okay, yeah. So this is the caning of Charles Sumner. So basically, it's being used for propaganda, saying stuff like, uh, "Look, the Southerners, they're violent, they're not good people, so on and so forth." The electoral politics in the 1856 decision. So basically, James Buchanan was a Democrat and he won the presidency, but the Republican Party was established this year, and eventually they would start gaining power. So Democrats grew divided. The Dred Scott decision basically ruled that African Americans could not be citizens, and Congress said they can't be citizens, and we can't say if slavery should or should not be done. That can only be done by the people. Um, in 1857, there was a panic on the northern economy. The financial crisis hit the economy hard. Um, the cotton exports were relatively unaffected, which sort of caused the Southerners to be like, yes, our economy is resilient and we have cotton is truly king because our exports weren't affected. So Northerners, they can be easily affected by financial crises. Lincoln Douglas debates are really famous because even to this day, for example, if you're part of speech and debate, you can do Lincoln Douglas debates. But basically, Abraham Lincoln challenged Stephen Douglas for the Illinois Senate, and these debates focused on slavery expansion, popular sovereignty, economic issues, expansion of slavery, expansion of the United States. So this caused these debates were very famous. They were broadcasted, and Lincoln gained national attention, demonstrating moral and political status while also showing that he could debate very well. John Brown raided Harper Ferry in 1859, trying to ignite a slave uprising. He was executed for it, and it started debates: is this guy a martyr? Can he use violent methods to get abolition? 1860 was election of one man known as Abraham Lincoln. He was a Republican, and this was partly achieved due to the fact that the Democratic Party was split between two candidates, Douglas and Breckinridge. Let me try to pull up an image of Breckinridge, actually, really quickly. Breckinridge. No, sorry, Breckinridge, Southern Democrat, I believe. John C. Breckinridge, and this is the man right here. As you guys can see, John C. Breckinridge, and this was the election of 1860. As you guys see, John C. Breckinridge was elected vice president in 1856 on the Democratic ticket with James Buchanan. He was the youngest VP in U.S. history, elected at age 35. Um, and it was between him and Douglas, actually. So, yeah, a lot to comment on there. Um, so, moreover, so eventually, yeah, Lincoln was elected, and Southern states began seceding, starting with South Carolina, because they knew his stance on slavery. So, states like a lot of states were divided. Like, should I go slave? Should I go for the? Should I go for the? Um, sorry, should I work for? Should we go to the Confederacy or should we not? And this fractured communities, families, so on and so forth. A common name for the Northerners in this war were Billy Yank, and the Southerners were Johnny Reb. And these are involved in many songs. If you guys have ever heard, maybe I'll play a little bit at the end. But these are involved in a lot of music and songs that are being used. So volunteers and later draftees made up the Union Confederate forces, and they varied a lot in training. And sometimes they brought their own weapons, which is kind of crazy to think of now. Like imagine going to the military and bringing your own weapons, but it was done then. And something else of note, which I found interesting personally, was the fact that a lot of the North, in the North, there are a lot of freedmen, African Americans who were free, who tried to fight for the right of their race to have slavery. Um, Second thing is the North experienced industrial growth and economic boom, but the South didn't so much because war is good for a manufacturing economy, but not so much for an agricultural one. And the South suffered shortages and inflation. Moreover, the South is needs land and to do agriculture. So this land can get harmed, and was factories are less of, have less of an ability to get harmed by war. Lincoln and Davis faced challenges in governance, wartime leadership, and in how do we allow civil liberties while trying to put everything towards the war. So, what was the significance? Um, so, the Civil War wasn't like a quick spark. It was incited by decades of a lot of tension, sectionalism, as we've been learning about in AP U.S. history. A lot of compromises that failed, like for example the Missouri Compromise, which held for a while, but it was like putting a band-aid on a dam instead of it's like putting a band-aid on a dam, right? Like not a dam, like a river. You're trying to block a river and you put like a couple sticks and maybe it'll hold it for a second, but eventually it'll get broken through. Um, so eventually, like by the 1860 election, John Brown said peaceful revolution is not possible. And 1861 to 1860, Union had all the advantages in terms of manufacturing and industrial things. One of the most important things during war is logistics. Like, how can I get as many weapons as possible? And Union demonstrated they could do it better. Okay, quick question. So, what was the thing that I found most interesting personally? Um, Personally, yeah. I suppose to me personally, it was the music. A lot of the Civil War music, I googled up some of it. I can play it right now if you, maybe not. But a lot of the Civil War music I saw was uh, um, what's that song called? Yeah, so I'll play a little bit in a second, but I'll answer the second question as I'm typing. Um, yeah, YouTube, right? Okay, I'll play in a second. I need to turn up my desktop audio for a second. You won't be able to hear this, but now you will. You should be able to hear it, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna put it like here. Hopefully you'll be, yeah, it should be a little bit quiet. Yeah, okay. Actually, it's gonna drown out my voice then unless I talk really loudly. Okay, this should be the right way. It's still kind of drowning out my voice, but I don't really care at this point. I just want to. I really like this song. I remember we learned about this in second grade. So okay, long story. Brings me back. Okay, and what was the thing I think most relates to me in our current day? It's the sectionalism. The sectionalism is very present today too, especially with the two-party system that our voting encourages, right? It creates sectionalism where people are divided between two different things, and that makes it really easy to divide pensions. Where there are 40 different groups and where each individual is themselves, it's very hard to incite violence in the same way there is when there's two big groups trying to fight each other. Yes. So that's it for my Apush podcast this week. Thank you guys. Things. Should I play the song for a bit? I mean, yeah, you can feel free to tune out. I just like this song, so yeah.
We are marching to the field, boys, we're going to the fight, shouting the battle cry of freedom, and we bear the glorious stars for the Union and the right, shouting the battle cry of freedom, the Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah, down with the traitor, up with the strong, glory well.
Oh yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the podcast. Bye.